Hey guys, I'm Sullivan, a floral designer here in Philadelphia. And if you've been a subscriber here for a little while, you may have noticed I haven't been here for like two and a half months. To be totally honest with you, it's because I didn't want to keep making videos as a 45-year-old lady with braces. I'm just kidding. I am having what I think happens to a lot of smaller, newer channels on YouTube. I got YouTube malaise in the grand scheme of all the things that could go wrong in the last couple of years. It's really not very serious. I just want to kind of tell you guys, especially you guys that have followed for a little while, what that feels like. And also to let you know that to get myself out of the not posting video funk that I've been in, I'm committing to posting 20 videos in 28 days. Yeah, I did pick the shortest month of the year to do this, but come on, 28 days of anything is really, really hard. So here we go. I had started my YouTube because I didn't see anyone like me on YouTube. I was looking for information. I was a super inexperienced gardener. I had this crazy, formerly abandoned garden here in Philadelphia. My home was renovated, and I have been working as a floral designer for 12 years with my own business. And so I knew enough about flowers and plants to be dangerous when it comes to buying them, but I didn't really know anything about building a garden completely from scratch. And so I went on YouTube and I found some great channels, some channels that I still follow, channels that are somewhat more food or homestead based, really not my thing. Tons of great information. But I just didn't see anyone like me. I'm a pretty well-known floral designer in my field, in my region, I guess even in the country, depending on the magazine or whomever. But there wasn't really anyone like me making videos. And that's because videos are a lot of work to do on top of having another job. But I had wanted to start it because I had already been scaling back the number of weddings I was taking per year. Weddings are like I call it like the broken record of Pinterest. Or I guess you could insert any social media channel at this point. Next year's clients are looking at photos from last year's weddings. And so trends just like continually repeat. And I am not somebody that likes to do the same thing over and over again. Even when I have to make 20 centerpieces for a party using basically the same flowers, I try to make them all feel a little bit different. I do not enjoy anything feeling like it was like rubber stamped out over and over again. The irony is that YouTube wants exactly the same thing from you at the same time, every week, in the same format. It's so your audience knows what to expect. It's so they can figure out who your audience is. I just didn't know enough about it when I decided to start making videos. And so, yeah, it's been challenging. I can say now that this channel is about my garden, but I still have videos that have nothing to do with my garden. And I've learned a lot making all these types of videos. I've heard it called feeding the algorithm, or, appeasing the YouTube algorithm can really wear on creative people. And I would say, especially someone like myself who became self-employed to escape doing the exact same thing all the time. And then my wedding work and floral work and all of that is never the same. And so I've really struggled with finding a way to kind of talk to you guys, the subscribers that have been here, about the continually changing aspects of what I'm working on in my garden. And then you throw a global pandemic in, which shut down my main source of income and left me in a position of I couldn't afford to pay the people that I was supposed to have working on my garden for me. So I used that time during the pandemic to renovate my garden myself. Some of it was good, some of it was bad, some of it is still very, very messy, but fortunately under 7 inches of snow. It's hard to be somebody that is involved in so many different creative pursuits to distill that down into one similarly formatted video every week. And most of the most successful channels post every day. And I have to not just film and edit and upload the videos, but I have to actually do the work that I'm filming. So it is a really, really difficult schedule. And I'm just going to try to make as many videos as possible for this 28-day period. And I'm also going to try to break one of my bad patterns that is not YouTube imposed, but something that I started doing to myself during these 3 years of making videos, which is overproducing them in my imagination, or overproducing them to feature things that I don't know how to do. I'm talking about heavily scripted things or multicam. Well, okay, I know how to do multicam and edit it. I also know how to do motion now with my camera, which is excellent. But for example, I make these epic holiday installations every year. It wasn't just enough for me to turn the camera on and film the process of that. I had dreamed up this like Hollywood visual effect technique that I wanted in this video. And I took so long to learn to do rotoscoping and visual effects that posting a Christmas video at the end of January now would be completely insane. Maybe I'll have it for next year. Maybe I'll have the skill wrapped up so that next year's holiday video can have it. But that's something that I do for myself. I think as creative individuals, it's not uncommon to dream up something that you don't have the skills to do. But that's really hard to do when the algorithm wants you to keep feeding it videos. And I'm somebody that if I'm not satisfied with the final product, it doesn't go anywhere. And that is part of why weddings in particular for me are very challenging, because flowers are inconsistent and perishable, and weddings have a hard start time. Like, you can't be like, I'm sorry, could you just not walk down the aisle right this second? I just need maybe like 45 more minutes on the huppah. That's not how it works. And so I was sort of letting videos become something like that, except that the bride was me. And I doubt most of you would even notice these things, but when you're making videos in a bubble by yourself, you start to latch onto things that you're like, oh, I want this graphic to do this, and I want, this motion effect, and I want, and yeah, you wouldn't probably notice if these things were there or weren't there, but for me, who has to sit and edit them and look at them, I want them to be these things that make me either smile or laugh or, are just like rewarding or engaging. And I guess what I'm realizing is that some of that stuff is stuff I have to work up to. And maybe if I can keep growing the audience, I can have an editor that can help me achieve some of those things. But the amount of time required for some of these things means that the window to make these videos just kind of, it's like the bride. It's time to walk down the aisle. Christmas happens at a specific time each year. Putting out the Christmas video mid-February does not make a lot of sense. And honestly, that's probably when I could finish the visual effect that I was working on, which not that many of you are going to watch this, but maybe next year we can revisit this footage. I can be like, look, I finally learned how to do this thing, which wouldn't even be on camera for 20 seconds, but I really want to know how to do it. And then the last thing about YouTube, which I think is a really common misconception no matter what type of channel you're watching, YouTube's not passive. It's not a passive income source. Standing here talking to you is input. Editing it, build it, doing the back end stuff, the keywords, all of this is not passive. There is a ton of input. In fact, it's extraordinarily low paying work because a lot of channels never really make any money. I know it could be a business, and it very well may be. But for me, it was a place to put some of the work that I think is interesting, that I do, out in the world, and to learn video skills and to learn things that I'm not entirely sure how they're going to impact my future, but I just like knowing how to do them. And so, but it's not passive. This is all, it can be as, I was having this chat on Instagram with somebody. I mean, whatever you decide to do, it can be as easy as, you know, a talking head. If I was not into gardening, I suppose I could just sit and talk to you. But I don't know what about. But, or it can be these elaborate stop motion videos or animations or, you know, filmmaking or Legos or all the different things that I like to watch on YouTube. And I watch those videos from a perspective now of somebody who just tried to make some of those videos for myself. And I know how much work it is. So, you know, YouTube is a business, but ultimately, if it's not entertaining, informative, or, you know, in some cases, brand new information, you know, I don't want to put it out there. Not everything in gardening or that I'm doing is brand new information. Not always groundbreaking. I love how many things are actually garden puns and would like to keep a running list of them. If I'm not delivering brand new information and I'm just kind of sharing with you a project or what it is that I'm doing, I still want to present that in a way that I can feel proud of. And I don't have a huge team behind me. Most of the giant channels that you see have editors and assistants and people doing some of the gardening work and all of this good stuff. And I don't fault any of them for that. But as a smaller channel who sees what they're able to deliver to that audience, I want to do my version of that. But I'm limited in that not only is this not my only job, it can't be, I don't want it to be my only job. For somebody like me that could take my time during the pandemic, which I know how fortunate and privileged I am that I was able to just kind of sit and chill for that time because my husband was still working. In addition to learning video skills, learning things about gardening, sourcing plants, I was able to take a ceramics class and learn to make some of my own vases, something that I have wanted to do for 13 years since I started making floral designs for my job. I have wanted to make vases for those designs that didn't exist. And I was able to go and explore a completely new and challenging, incredibly challenging new medium with some success and a lot of trials and tribulations. And I'm aware what a gift all of that is, but also like, that's kind of who I am. Like, yeah, I'm all about my garden, but I'm also all about my porcelain right now. I mean, I made this porcelain. Like, I came up with the recipe to make the actual clay before it went into an oven and became real porcelain. So to me, that kind of summarizes who I am. I'm a little bit all over the place, and YouTube does not enjoy that. So for the next 28 days, I will be talking about different things that I have going on relating to the garden. And then, what should any human who fails to upload videos on a consistent basis do? They should start another channel. And then I am starting a channel for all the other things that I like to do, because it doesn't belong here on my garden channel, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't exist. So stay tuned. All right, guys, subscribe, hit the bell. I'll be posting every day through the month of February. Seeds, seedlings, plants, things I learned, things that didn't work, my top 5 in many categories, what you can do with your garden budget because the entire world is sold out of so many things and so many other things. I mean, it's a very long list. It's 27 items long after this one. So thank you guys so much for watching. For you guys who've subscribed, sorry about the long break. I'm working on figuring out what I can keep up with consistently, and we'll see what people like over these next 28 days. So thank you again for watching. I will see you soon.